Hail and well met. Welcome to the Westgate Irregulars for our 24th episode. 24, yes. Haha. I am Eric Scott to be. I'm the DM of this campaign. These are the dungeon scrawlers, my players that allow me to abuse them on a regular basis. I've currently thrown them into the astral sea where they are floating, devoid of meaning and direction, but they will tell you who they are and what they got to say. Take it away, Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga. I'm also going to tell you about our sponsor. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, including Farida and Havilar from the Brimstone Angels saga. The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. For more information, check out idlechampions.com.
I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held and also space opera as RZ Held. And if you're interested in finding out about any of our books, take a look at the widget on our Twitch page that has a selection of all our different series.
Hey, I'm Yang Wang. I'm a writer and a filmmaker.
Emily.
Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, okay, sorry. Hi, I'm
No
Emily.
worries.
I'm Emily Tang. I'm a writer and a game designer at Wizards of the Coast. Disclaimer, all thoughts and opinions expressed in the stream are my own and do not represent Wizards of the Coast.
Did you say, oh, I thought I was you?
I thought it was you.
I had an
Happens to me all the time.
existential confusion.
It's the doppelgangers again. They're back.
Dang it!
Who am I?
Hi, I'm Stephen Merlino. I'm an author and teacher, and I play Sturge.
Hi, I'm Randy, a professional paint by numbers artist.
Well, aren't we all professional paint by numbers artists? We
Yeah.
are, as
I'm
I
staying
think
amateur
somebody
for the
mentioned,
Olympics.
we're all writers, we're all storytellers, and these characters are the stories that we're telling together. And so that's what makes our campaign unique and special. And we have those story moments where we get really in depth into the characters. And sometimes like just terrible things happen to you, like being thrown into the astral sea and from there into limbo and there into the astral sea again. And now a githyanki ship. But first, to tell us a little bit about what's gone before, let's have Rogar's recap. Take it away, Randy.
Like, I literally just finished typing this. Cool. Okay, here we go. I mean, I'm well prepared. Here we go.
You know what? Done is done.
Yeah, I know. Previously on Westgate Irregulars. All right, so well, as Eric mentioned, we were flung into the astral sea when Mirren cast this spell to save us from the Night King who was attacking us, and we suspect we were casted. This is a repeat of when she tried to hide Artemisia's house, Briar House, and who ensconced this adopted daughter Mirabelle inside, just to hide it, but accidentally cast it apparently into another dimension or plane or something. So we lost that for a while. So we're hoping to find it here, but we'll see. And after a bit of flying around the astral plane, we ended up somehow in limbo, which was like all crazy and chaos. And there were like, I don't know, chocolate bunnies or anything. I don't know. There was like, it was weird. And
You were
then
dancing really low.
That was very strange.
And then, but Caliph was wounded by a slod. Some slod attacked us, and she may have an infection or something that she's hiding from the rest of us.
Not hiding. It's just,
she just
it's
hasn't been.
kind of small right now.
Yeah,
I'll
so
deal with
yeah,
it eventually.
brush it off. Nearly a flesh wound.
She's just enjoying it.
It's such a flesh wound.
Yeah, it'll get better. It'll get better.
Totally. Yeah. Put some butter on it. So and then we escaped back from limbo to the astral sea, only to find this mound of rock that turned out to be a dead god. And in a cave on the dead god, we found this old guy, really ancient dude. He was like meditating, and he made a bunch of cryptic remarks to Rogar. And then after a rest period, he just disappeared. But he left behind a sword that he told us, do not touch. So obviously, probably one of us needs to touch that, but we'll see. And then, dun, 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 a giant silver ship appeared floating above the dead god rock. And so that's where we left off. So, but because we're in the other plane, so, the plane's like, this is the great wheel cosmology now, I guess, in 5e. And there used to be a wheel cosmology, and then it was a tree cosmology, and then like split thing, and then I don't know. It's crazy. Trying to figure out all the planes and stuff is just crazy. But I was looking at this. I'm like, what would be fun is like, surely there's like an astrology for like the planes because it looks kind of like a zodiac. So I thought I'd read our party's planes horoscopes. So starting with Artemisia, I had time to pick out a few planes for each, but I didn't get all of you. So I figured Elysium maybe for Artemisia. And so Elysiumites make great friends. They're always there when you need to mooch or a couch to crash on, as long as you don't put your boots on the couch. People say Elysiumites are control freaks, but the Elysiumite would say those people aren't enunciating the words correctly and loudly enough. So your horoscope says that you should party this weekend because you'll have a lot to forget from the week, especially what happened the night before. And in adventuring, this year will be filled with rough encounters, dark rituals, being bound and gagged, has happened to you a couple of times. Many of your favorite dresses becoming torn and sweat stains. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not your adventuring horoscope. That's your love horoscope. Right. Okay.
Oh, man. Sweat stains and love.
All right. So
What a week.
And good careers for Elysiumites are working with a taxidermist, putting cute dresses on stuffed pixies. So there you go.
This is a spicy game.
Stong. Pandemonium, I thought maybe. I don't know. Pandemoniumites, or pandas for short, are optimistic and enthusiastic, and your every thought is a pearl of wisdom. But like sort of before it becomes a pearl, so it's like mostly a grain of sand that smells a bit like oyster spit, but still potential. Am I right? Lots of potential.
All my ideas are great ideas.
Absolutely. Pandas have a tendency to put things in their mouth that were never meant for mouths.
I see.
Likewise, things in their heart. All pandas eventually get a tramp stamp of a panda on their lower back. I don't know why. It just seems to be a trend. And love-wise, pandas tend to be the size of 3 kobolds in a trench coat, which that's probably why they are so attracted to twins and triplets as lovers, especially ones who like to bite or are maybe like frost flinging warriors in the arena. Sturge, he's so Acheron. Acheronites love to give their opinion where it is most wanted to not be given. Acherites, or I'll just call them Archies, tend to demand the respect they deserve. It is not uncommon for their calling cards to include titles like Lord and Master of All, for example. Archonites have historically been great and powerful figures who tend to die horribly. But on the plus side, they get a great statue, so the pigeons will love you forever. Archies are convinced that everyone is out to get them, which is probably good because it's usually true. Aye. And we won't discuss your love horoscope. I know how you feel about that stuff, but of course, if you ever do want to discuss it, Rogar is here to help you. And Archonites are often the character painter in the town square for some reason. I don't know. Also, they can also be the professional person who smells dish rags to see if they've become too musty. I don't know why that's a profession, but apparently. So, Cecilia, I did not pick a. Let's see. Let's pick a. Let's see. You're probably. You're kind of pandemonium too, but like I don't know what to pick for you. So
I'm a cusp.
You're a cusp. You're a cusp on. Let's see here. We'll say. Not the abyss. No, we'll say. Gehenna, Acheron. I don't know. Oh, we already did Acheron. So, but you are sympathetic and understanding. Whoever sign that is sympathetic and understanding and very even-tempered. So, I know, right? Sometimes
this is so scientific.
It's so scientific, exactly. When danger arrives, you will spring into your nicest sweatpants to tackle it.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, using the most creative curse words are your way of being erudite. And you are a loyal and will sacrifice much for your family, particularly other people. In fact, you never forgot a birthday or a family anniversary so that you know the best days to avoid your family. And you totally deserve that special gift hidden in the trunk under your sister's bed, so you should just go in and take it and just go now.
Okay, we gotta find the house now.
Right.
I like
I
how
cared
you
about it before,
phrased
but now I
that.
really care about it.
I like how you phrase that. Always willing to sacrifice for everyone, particularly family.
Yeah.
Sacrifice your family for the.
Oh.
Yeah. Romance is in the air today for you, especially specifically romance is in the air over Cholt. So if you happen to be flying over Cholt, you're very lucky. If not, I guess you're screwed. Sorry.
Oh well.
And a good imperator would be a Shard impersonator. Not to be confused with a Cher impersonator, although there is some crossover.
Haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. And Caliph, you are unique, aggressively so. Like, you are the president of the Westgate Nonconformists Guild. As an adventurer, you will strain your back lifting a particularly heavy sandwich. Don't worry, tomorrow you'll be broke, so you're probably safe from like eating-related injuries. And for your sign, when one door closes, another opens. And if not, well, there's always shatter. And they say love is magical, and of course, necromancy is magic. So I don't know what that says, but you will.
There you go.
Yes, you will soon receive a gift of love, and it is probably curable. So there you go. Those are the signs. But anyway, yeah. So we're floating around in the plains, and I don't know if you've ever like tried to figure out the plains cosmology, but it's crazy. There you go. I don't know what that was, but it's done. It's too late to take it back. Back to you, omniscient narrator God.
You watched it. You can't unwatch it.
That's right.
Well, we're going to do a couple of real brief retcons because Steven asked me toward the end of last game how big the ship was. And he just like threw out some numbers. He's like, is it 100 feet? Is it 200 feet? I'm like, it's huge. So I wanted to tell you specifically how big it is. It is.
How big is it?
It is 90 feet.
90
Okay.
feet.
Whoa.
Okay, so almost 100 feet.
Okay.
I'm not impressed if it's under 100. That's my impression limit, you know.
It's a big military ship.
Ice isn't
It's not a ship. That's a boat.
Okay. And secondly, before we deal with the implications of the ship being there, the night that passed in the cave was odd. You've spent some time in the astral sea by now, and you realize that your bodies don't feel the same way as they do in the material plane. You don't get hungry, you don't get thirsty, you don't even really get tired. Like sleep just wasn't really on your agenda. You don't really know how long you were traveling through the astral sea tirelessly. But once you entered the cave and you sat meditating with the old elf, waves of calm and relaxation and lassitude flowed out around the cave, and your bodies relaxed, and you had some peace for the first time in some time for some of you. And during the night, you had certain odd experiences, certain odd dreams. Sometimes you woke up and had conversations. What is one such conversation that happened that night, Artemisia?
Well,
Very smooth.
Artemisia needs to talk to Cecilia.
Okay.
Um,
You're pretty sure that you talked to Cecilia at some point in that night. What happened? Show us.
We take you.
Yeah.
No. Lucas wipe.
Well, as long as Cecilia looks like kind of awake, Artemisia doesn't need her to respond necessarily. So Artemisia is gonna like go up to her, and she's gonna sort of like gather herself, and then like clearly she's got a little like speech planned. This is not a conversation. This is Artemisia like telling her.
This is like every time Artemisia needs to talk. Just like
So-
speech planned. I have prepared.
Aaron, is
Yes.
Cecilia awake? Is she pointedly not paying attention to anyone?
I think that I don't know why she's awake, but this doesn't work if she's asleep. So I do think that Cecilia would be avoiding eye contact
Okay.
very strenuously. Maybe she's looking at this weird sword that we're supposed to not touch.
Right.
If for no other reason than she's pretty convinced Sturge is going to touch it.
Sleep
Just
might
keep an eye
happen.
on it. Make sure Sturge doesn't do one of these.
It is one of those weird nights where you sleep strangely. Perhaps you sleep very
feel like that's
shallowly.
every night in my real
Perhaps you
life.
sleep real heavy, and you're just totally dead to the world. But it's not a common experience. Anyway, so you're
Okay.
sort of awake, not really paying attention to anyone else other than your own thoughts and protecting and watching the sword because Sturge is gonna get up to some shenanigans.
Take in my
Okay, I
unspoken
gotcha.
watch on the sword.
Gotcha.
So, Cecilia, just please hear me out. I need to apologize. I shouldn't have said any of that. You should feel how you feel about anybody, and it's no business of mine. And you should just. I'm sorry that I made it seem like it was my business, and I don't. The anger, like, I guess it's happened a couple times now that I gave into it, and it was. I mean, I hate to say that Marcellia is ever right, but it was not the right thing to do. It distracted Mirren, and it hurt you, and I am going to work on that. So I wanted to say that I apologize, and I will not speak that way to you again.
Fine. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, we're good. I shouldn't make my problems your problems. So we're good.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to. I'm happy to anything that you want to tell me. I promise not to react badly to ever.
Right now, I'm really just worried about the sword and Sturge grabbing it. I don't even think he can stop doing it in his sleep. That's my guess.
Sturge is lying there and he's like,
And Cecilia is most definitely not going to open up this conversation with Artemisia right now.
creeping up a little closer
this
to the
is a
sword
trap.
at the moment.
Artemisia is gonna be like, okay, so she was ready for being chewed out, and she wasn't chewed out, but Cecilia said she was doing something. So Artemisia will help.
So we will sit and stare at the sword.
Artemisia will help stare at the sword
I
really
like it.
hard.
Yep. There we
What
go.
the hell?
Everything's fine. We're good.
Does anyone else have an odd experience that they had during the night and they want to tell us about it?
Sturge, before he goes to bed, will, out of curiosity, cast Detect Magic on the sword and try to
Yeah,
figure.
it's definitely very magical.
He's mostly interested in the intensity of the magic and the school of magic.
It's very intense and is of multiple schools of magic, primarily abjuration.
Ooh, interesting. And
I know.
Does that sound like he's going to find a way to sneak a hand over?
It's really unfortunate that the first line in the spell identify is you choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. So yeah, no, Sturge is not.
I don't know, man. Book rules. It's right there. Obviously gonna do something. The
They've
question
given us
is,
these mechanics that they didn't want us to use them.
you can't put the gun on the mantle and then not have it go off. You can't put the sword in the cave and not have Sturge grab it.
Yes, you can.
I'm pretty sure that's what Chekhov said.
About Sturge specifically.
Specifically, Chekhov specifically said that about Sturge. Yes.
If only Sortion were here, we could
You could
definitely
probably
convince
convince
Sortion to touch it. Yeah, what Sturge is actually more interested in is the gigantic dead god that they're sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, without letting anyone know, he does find a nice round pebble about the size of a pea and swallow it.
Oh my god, can I roll to see that? Like Stong is sleeping with one eye open for Sturge and
Make a
like,
perception check with disadvantage.
oh. All right,
Well, you
disadvantage.
were asleep most of the time. So
I mean, it's weird sleep. What if he sleeps with his eyes open?
that's why he's allowed to make a check. Yeah.
9.
9.
Oh.
You're too sneaky,
You
Sturge.
didn't get a 10. Sorry.
It's all good.
You know, because on the astral plane, you don't need food, which presumably means you don't poop either. So this is going to be in me for a long time. There is a piece of a god inside of Sturge now.
Do you feel more divine?
Your dog is warning you to not grab it. I can hear that.
I feel like this
problem?
cover.
Get it.
I hate to be this person and spin this into like stupid crunch, but if you don't poop in the astral plane, do you even digest? Is that rock just going to sit there and do nothing until we go
Piece
back to
of
the
a
real world and
god.
your stomach
Do you
juices
need
go?
to digest it though for
I
it to
don't
help?
need to digest it. It just needs to be part of me. There is now
But
a
it's
god
not. It's sitting
inside me.
separate.
Whoa.
Have a god inside. you.
Interesting.
These are trivial things. Trivial.
This
At
is
one
what
point-
you're joining us for.
At one point, while you're swallowing this god pebble, you think you hear a dog whining somewhere in the distance.
It's so realistic.
That's So that's Rogar. He's turning and he's like, oh, you're so, oh. Maybe yeah. He's like having some weird distorted dream.
Chasing squirrels.
Yeah.
Flaming squirrels.
Flaming squirrels.
Okay.
That looked like
Well, in the morning, or at least once 8 hours have passed, because that's the duration of your protective spell that you cast, Guardian of Faith, right?
Aye.
Rogar, you climb out of the cave and you're looking up at the silver sky, and you realize that there is a great tall ship parked beside the island that you're on. It
Cool.
looks mostly like a sailing ship, like a warship of some kind, but it has multiple sails projecting in various directions from the top. And
So
there
it-
are a number of kind of sallow, yellow-skinned faces looking down at you.
So is my initial reaction, like my initial impression of their posture, like just hanging out, or hostile, or curious? Or...
Make an insight check.
Aye. 15, whatever. 15 plus 7. So yeah, 22.
Nice.
You think that their posture is somewhat hostile, but they aren't actually attacking. They seem to be kind of warily checking you out.
Ah, I'm going to.
Not like in a, hey, look how sexy that dwarf is.
All right. Oh well, understandable.
It's hard to tell from this distance.
All right.
The
I'm
30
gonna,
feet up is how high the ship is.
Sure. I'm gonna just sort of step back into the cave, and then and my spirit, and I'm watching. Unfortunately, my guardian of faith, who looks like a dwarf paladin, much like it looked like. I just think I said looked like Dwayne Johnson. But he's fading away. I'm like, ah, crap. So
Wayne, the dwarf paladin, yeah.
yeah. So I want to. How big is the cave entrance?
It's about 10 feet in diameter or so.
All right. I am going to step back, and if I have the opportunity, I'm gonna say, "Hey, we have company!" and touch the floor and do a stone shape, like raise the stone of the floor up to create like a barrier along the.
Like hardcover that you can duck behind.
Exactly. Aye.
How convenient. Yes. All right. So you start shaping stone up in
Yep.
front of you.
Aye.
You're all awake at this point. And Rogar shouts that warning. And you see a number of glittering figures, like they're wearing things that are glittering, come descending along the side of the stone outside. And it looks like they're rappelling with ropes, but they don't have any ropes. They're just moving down. And they land and they look like, well, this thing that Yang Yang's going to show you. So they have this kind of yellow, sallow complexion, like I said. They have pointed ears like elves. Their hair is dark and spiky, usually, sometimes very long and flowing. And they're wearing gaudy, many times gem encrusted pieces of armor that look like they weren't necessarily built to function together, but they're just put together to emulate that particular warrior's aesthetic.
They're like an evil, jaundiced David Bowie. Is what I'm
I was
hearing.
going to say Tom Petty.
Someone described them, I think it was Aaron who described them this way, as like a mixture of elves and goblins. Is that
I said an elf and a goblin got in a transporter accident.
right? Yeah, they got Tuvix. Yeah. And they're carrying these curved, glittering swords as they come stalking warily toward the cave. There are 6 of them who have appeared.
What Sturge mostly notices is the absence of a nose.
Yeah, their noses are mostly just kind of slits in their faces.
It sends a shiver down Sturge's spine.
It's like the opposite of Sturge. Yeah.
You and them could get in a transporter accident, and then you both have like
A regular nose.
Yes. These are the people from
So
whom
he's not
Sturge
making
took
that
all
joke
the
as a
noses.
Oh.
they come to take them back.
Were the noses magical?
It's
Must have been.
obvious that they're going to want my nose.
Okay, they start speaking loudly in an aggressive, challenging way in a language that you don't understand.
Wait,
I
have tongues. So Stong is going to who's the closest person to me? Like party member. Sturge? Okay.
Okay, Sturge.
Stong with one hand rubbing sleep from his eyes, doesn't really think about it, touches Sturge and casts tongues on him. Well, I guess he asked him first, like, hey, do you mind if I tongue you?
No.
Okay. So then he puts his hand on Sturge and then casts tongues. And now you can understand any spoken language that you hear, but not read.
Did you tongue yourself as well?
I don't do that.
The mechanics are too difficult.
I save it for my friends.
Okay.
Very generous.
Thank
you.
Ooh.
Stong likes to spread the magic.
All right. Hail. We mean you no harm.
Yeah, so they're saying, come out, and it will be safe for you. We will not hurt you, which may or may not be accurate.
Make an insight check in the language
yeah.
you don't speak.
Definitely insight checking that.
Okay, go ahead, Sturge.
And I will say to the others, they say if we come out, they won't hurt us.
Well, if we stay in here, they won't hurt us.
I rolled
Why is hurting us on the table?
Right.
Out of curiosity.
Like the first thing.
I
We
only
need to
rolled
ask if they've seen a house.
a 9.
Okay.
Ask them when hurting us came on the table.
You don't know. You're not sure if you're understanding them properly, even though you can understand what they're actually saying.
Why exactly was hurting even a suggestion? Why was that a thing?
So you hear the flapping of wings outside, and something. Well, the cave you're in shakes
Uh-oh.
as something massive lands on top of it.
Oh, a friend, I hope. An ally.
Oh,
One
God.
of our many friends in the astral plane. Our many
And
massively
then-
winged friends.
Another of these creatures descends like on the wings of magic into the courtyard. And
I look at it. Is it bigger than 90 feet?
the creature,
Mhm.
the creature's humanoid, medium-sized creature, not bigger than 90 feet.
Oh, then I am not impressed. I told you my impression limit, 90 feet and greater.
I just when you're saying creature, just to be clear, is it the same ones that were from the ship, or this is a different creature?
Same ones from the.
Right.
You're not
Okay.
letting me describe it. You're just like, it's
Sorry.
bigger than 90 feet. I'm like,
Sorry, Eric.
no, it is one of those same yellow-skinned, pointy-eared creatures. This one appears to be female based on your understanding of how humanoid creatures work. And she is obviously has more jewelry and such than the others, but is not wearing any armor. She just has a big, long silver sword, which is slightly curved.
Oh, man.
But the others clearly look to her out of deference, and they bow. And she turns and looks into the cave, and she says, "You are trespassing on the territory patrolled by the Terragris." Terragris. That's what she says.
Does she say that so we can all understand her, or is Sturge the only one? who
Only
understand
Surge
her?
can understand her.
So we all look at Sturge.
Yeah, well, okay, Serge.
Caleb was gonna cast comprehend languages.
Oh, nice.
So Sturge is going to say to the group, she's offering us donuts. And then he's going to say to the woman, we're castaways. We have washed up here by complete accident, swept away from the material plane by a badly cast spell. We mean no harm, and we certainly mean no disrespect to any territorial considerations that you may have for this place. We
You
wish
should
only
come with us.
you offer us
Lower your
transport.
weapons.
I'll say to the group, lower our weapons. Lower
Did any of us raise our weapons?
the weapons. They've withdrawn the offer of donuts,
Oh.
but they're offering us a transportation. Probably not.
All back in the weird plane again. Like, where did the donuts come
I made that up. Just drop it.
from? Damn it, Sturge! This is
Do
why we
any
don't
of
elect you the speaker.
Do any of you go out of the cave?
I will.
I mean, I
Alright.
guess like the option of like staying in the cave where they can pin us down doesn't sound great.
No.
It
Yeah.
is
I
a pretty
think-
small cave.
I think if we play this right, we'll have transportation out of this place.
Or we're going to end up being galley slaves. I mean, really, we have no idea.
Yeah,
Because
what is
you're
the price?
translating very badly right now.
Urge, ask her about if she's seen the house.
Okay. Especially, we seek a house also cast here by accident, by a badly cast spell. It contains loved ones and children.
Okay. So you head out and you're talking about this thing, and she just kind of doesn't care about what you're saying. And then you look up and you see that thing on top of the cave, on top of the rock above you, is a huge, sinuous, red-scaled dragon,
Dang.
You know my
As in-
question, Eric.
and it hisses down at you. Oh man, you're gonna make me look it up.
No. It's greater than 90 feet. That's all I need to know.
I know you're gonna make me look it up. Like I
It's going to
said.
be accurate.
I gotta be accurate.
It's,
The alternative is he says, yes, it's 112 feet. And then someone in the comments goes, excuse me.
Dragons don't
Adult
grow that
red
big.
dragons top out at 87 feet.
This must be an ancient red dragon who entered into the enlarging plane.
Or tail
Let's
extension.
Astral
see.
plane.
I mean,
there,
does it-
yeah.
When you get
Do
old,
you
like
feel
sometimes you
like
want tail
it's over
extensions.
90
right?
feet? Do you
Well,
think
it is a
you feel like it's
huge
over 90
creature.
feet?
I do.
huge.
Yeah. So yeah, we could say from the tip of its snout to the end of its tail, it's 90 feet long. Sure.
Stomp
Everyone
is
looks at
very
Stomp.
impressed. Oh my god!
Most of that is tail, though,
I'm
worry
still
about it.
impressed. It's a lot of tail.
and it leers down at you, hissing, and fire leaks out of its mouth.
Ah, good. So at
The
least we
dragons
know.
are the bad kind of dragons. Cecilia definitely does not know.
Dragons, color coded for your convenience.
Unless you didn't pay attention to that part in school.
Red is wrong.
Sturge, quick. Ask it if it's a friend or if it's a dingle dangle.
I'm just smile and wave. Actually, I've never spoken to a dragon before.
Artemisia supposedly speaks Draconic.
Oh,
Andy.
So like
Good.
she's gonna face it and try to look like confident and like maybe channel Marcellia a little bit, and say, "Well met" in Draconic. It's not the best Draconic, but she doesn't get much practice.
Okay. Make a charisma-based check.
Okay.
If you want it to be persuasion, that's
Bless you.
fine.
for me.
26.
Nice.
26.
Oh, that was some
New
sexy
best
draconic.
friend.
The dragon turns its head to the side and it says, "Well met," in Draconic.
Ooh, that was good, Eric.
Very dragony voice.
Good dragon voice.
"You are a long-lost child. Why are you with these mortals?"
Mm.
And the woman looks up at it and says, "Silence. This is my catch, not yours." And dragon
Oh.
says, "Hmm."
Catches.
Mhm.
And it
Does she say that?
okay.
Sorry, there's so many languages. Did she say that in Draconic or did she say that in the githyanki language?
she is only speaking. Okay, no, she would have said that in Draconic because she
Okay,
was
so
addressing the
Artemisia
dragon.
understands.
So
that.
Artemisia, you did understand what she said.
So it's like, why did I take Sylvan?
Those of you who have comprehend languages or in tongues, you understood what she said too. Sturge and Calith both understood that. And dragon said, "Hmm, I shall abide by our pact."
Hmm.
But he's looking at Artemisia curiously. And Artemisia, you have never seen a dragon smile, but maybe that might be what's happening. Or the dragon is like, you look good to eat.
Oh, no.
It's hard to say.
Oh, no.
Let's see. Are the terms of your pact favorable? Perhaps we could better them.
So the woman says something angrily to Artemisia, which Artemisia doesn't understand. But
Really?
those of you who have comprehend languages and tongues, you understand that she said, "Silence, captive, or I shall have my dragon consume you."
Hmm. She thinks you should be quiet or she's going to have the dragon eat you.
What are you doing?
They're not friendly
We should
people.
have stayed in the cave.
Making it up as I go along.
Oh my god.
Made it too costly for them to take us.
She turns to Sturge and she says, "You are the leader of this band."
No,
What is she saying?
I am merely the one who understands what you say.
Tell them not to resist, and they shall not be harmed.
I haven't been resisting.
We have not resisted to this point.
Tell that to that one. She points to Artemisia, seeking to turn Reverast against me.
You use the term captives and catch, and I think that perhaps got under her skin a little.
She lifts up one of her. She lifts her hand in this gesture like this, and Sturge, you feel this unseen force on you, and you start lifting off the ground.
I say, levitation. I'm familiar with that spell. Have it myself in my book. Not quite ready to cast it yet.
She goes like, and you shoot up into the sky, over toward the deck of the ship.
I would
Where
counterspell
other
this, but I
warriors
have no
waiting
idea what
for
is
you.
going on.
Other what?
Other warriors are waiting to
Oh.
receive you.
God. I mean, on one
Why
hand,
did you give it to Sturge? I don't think he's doing very good at negotiating.
he was the closest. On one hand, that
Turns
looks
to
super
Stong.
fun. Oh,
I think it's your turn for a ride.
Stong, you want to make
Maybe?
a insight check?
ooh, yeah. Let's see here. Insight. I am super mediocre at insight. That is a 12.
Okay. You haven't understood a single word that she said, but you're pretty sure her body language now is I consider you to be potentially a threat to me. And so she's kind of like,
Oh no.
she's kind of like standing up to you and like staring you down, as it were.
So I guess from Stong's point of view, he hasn't understood a single thing that's happening. There was like a mention of the word donuts. He didn't really understand, but it sounded like something good. And now we're being offered like a free ride, but then he heard something about captives, and then Sturge went for like a little levitating ride. Did I happen to catch what Sturge's expression was while he was going on that ride? Does he look troubled? Or was it like, wee?
Did she look troubled, Sturge, or were you very happily in the grip of her telekinesis?
He looked a bit troubled, chagrined.
Yeah, you've never known levitation to work quite like that.
No.
Because that's not what she did. All right.
Oh.
Okay, so Stong's gonna intimidate her back. He sees her looking intimidating, so he's gonna like puff up his chest and look a little more intimidating while like giving his friend side eye, especially Calith and Cecilia. Like, what do we do? We doing this?
I don't know what's going on. I want off this rock. I mean, that's an idea, except not with her. She's very rude.
Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
That was a
All
21.
of us or just him?
Yes, 21. Okay. She looks around and she sees Caliph and she says, You understand me, yes? Tell this one that Scarcer accepts his challenge.
Oh God.
Who's scarce? Okay.
Her, presumably.
That's her.
Hopefully the
Okay.
weakest of their group.
I think you have to fight someone.
Oh.
Straight
he
to the
charges
gorilla,
for
man.
that.
Straight to the gorilla.
Oh yeah. Tell her I'm an accomplished gladiator, but I only fight with my partner. And then
All right.
Not
She's
it.
she's going to lift you up with her telekinesis. Would you
Oh.
like to resist?
Oh yes? Can I resist?
Okay.
Heck yeah. What do I need to roll to resist?
It's contested by your strength check. So.
Strength check. Hopefully good. 19.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to keep yourself firmly on the ground despite
her
her
face.
attempts to lift you up.
Grab her face.
I do not want to grab her face. Let's not escalate this too much.
The other warriors pull out their swords and point them to you. You're like, let's not escalate this too much. All the swords at your
Okay,
face.
okay. I just resist for a moment, and then like after she knows that I've resisted her, I just like give her this nod, and then I let her like let me away.
Okay. Yeah, she sends you flailing up through the sky.
I try to look really cool flying through the sky.
Artemisia and anyone
Dab.
else who happens to speak
Dab is
Draconic. The dragon kind of chuckles and then says something under his breath.
I
Which
say,
you recognize as she is interested in that one.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Intimidation. Huh?
Kabow.
What was my horoscope? What about love? I don't remember.
Twins.
Rogar's going to say, well, we can't leave our sword. It's the most valuable thing we own.
Nice. Nice.
Love it.
Yes, Caleb, tell her she has to get the sword.
Caleb can't actually talk to them.
Oh.
Comprehend language if she just
We
understands.
don't
what
want to
they're
get the
saying.
sword. We want them to
She
get
can't say
So
it, though.
the leader nods
Can we
to the
pantomime
cave,
it?
and a couple of the soldiers head in there.
Hmm.
And then
Problem sounds
there's
like it's
there's
solving
very
itself.
quickly shouting like, "Oh, we found something!"
Joke.
Right,
So
Caleb-
Artemisia is going to hear that. Oh, that Rogar said that. She's going to say in Draconic, like supposedly at the dragon, but like also so that the women can hear. Oh no, they'll take the sword.
Yeah.
Nice.
If their leader gets it, that will be the end of us.
Make a deception check, please.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, don't take it too far.
If those couple of soldiers are inside and we can hear them go like, "Hey, we found something," can Caleb like peek in, see what happens if one of them touches the sword?
So that's a 28.
Okay.
Damn.
Ooh, nice.
So you seem to have
Nice.
convinced her that yes, the sword is something that you were attempting to hide from them, and that it is probably a good thing for them to take it. Which I think was what you were trying to get across.
Yeah.
Okay. And so she barks some orders in the cave, which Caleb, you understand as make sure to take the sword. You look in to see what happens, and one of them picks up the sword, and they're chattering to each other in their quick language, and nothing seems to happen to him when he picks up the sword.
All right.
And I walk up to her and gesture like, okay, just put me up there because obviously we're gonna have to go get Sturge and Stong anyway. And I don't know what any of you are doing. No one's telling me what's going on.
Okay, she waves her hand and lifts you with telekinesis. Would you like to resist?
No?
All right, she sends you up.
I know
to the
that's
cave.
not going to work.
She doesn't hurl
I know you two aren't gonna get off there by yourselves.
She doesn't hurl you.
Appreciate
She
that.
says in her own language something soft, which is, finally, they understand.
None of it.
Kayla can understand. And so she ferries each of you up onto the ship if you don't stop her from doing that. Yes? We're all on the ship?
That's correct.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay.
Does anybody speak common?
So you're on the deck of the ship, which is milling with dozens of these warriors in the various pieces of armor with the swords. They're tending to sails. They're crewing ballistae. This seems to be some kind of military ship of some sort. And you say, does anybody speak common?
Yep.
And sure enough, you hear a voice that comes out over the deck, a male voice saying, I speak your language. And you see
Excellent.
another man. He has the same yellow skin, sallow complexion, pointed ears, but he's dressed in mostly in robes rather than so much in armor. And he is carrying a curved sword, which is on his back, like in a way that suggests that he's not like carrying it as though to draw it immediately, because you don't really carry swords on your back for that purpose. You carry them that way when you're just carrying them. And he comes over to you and he says, travelers, I see that you are not projections into this place.
Don't even know what that means. We got here accidentally. We're being put on this ship. The guy who's doing the negotiations isn't telling us what's going on. So, can we get a recap? Are we going to end up being galley slaves? That's really what I'm afraid of.
He says, calm yourselves. I am Hertras. I am the Gish assigned to this ship.
Could you
Why
explain?
should that calm us?
Is there a check we can
Is that
make?
good? Or does that mean like
He-
traveler murderer?
He bows to Cecilia very graciously, and he says, welcome to the Terragris. This is a astral brig in service of the Githyanki Queen Blacketh.
I don't like the sound of that brig.
Can I roll anything to see if I've heard of any of these names or like know any
Sure.
of the terms? Or can we all
Since
roll
he's
something?
Speaking in common or language that's similar enough to common. That's the thing about common. Common isn't a single language. It's like the sort of code that people use to mix all their languages together that most people can understand. These people being on a distant plane of existence don't, except for this guy.
Rogar's pretty sure Gesh means ship's cook who specializes in human.
Oh, I would
Then
believe you if you told me
Everybody
that.
but Sturge is safe.
So, Stone, you should make a history check or an arcana check. Either of those would suffice.
18.
18. Okay. So, these people are Githyanki. You're pretty sure you've at least heard of them before. The creatures that roam the astral plane on great warships and out from a city called Tunarath. You think your studies are incomplete on the subject. And they are notoriously ruthless and dangerous and The reception that you got down by the cave seems more in keeping with what you've read than this guy being very polite to you.
Okay.
What was his name again?
Hartris is what he said his name was.
I tell everybody else what I remember.
Mm.
Hartris
Okay.
nods and says, yes, that is a very basic understanding. And what world do you come from? At that moment, the woman rises up and lands on the deck gracefully.
It's very dramatic.
And she
approve.
says,
I like that.
she says something to Hartris in the Gith language, which those of you who can understand, you still understand. She says, these are my prisoners. What is your interest in them? And he says, my interest is my own and that of the Lich Queen. And she says, ugh, it was a mistake bringing you on board in the first place. And he says, yes, perhaps. But in that case, it's Blackith's mistake. Would you like to tell her that she made a mistake? And Scarecera goes, ah, and she hops over the side of the ship, lands in the saddle of her red dragon, and flies
Whoa.
off.
Whoa.
Not too far away.
Oh,
Just starts
I
circling
want to
around
Really?
meet
the
her
ship.
when I grow up.
Styling.
Sturge will say to Hartris, we are in your debt. Thank you. She was not
You are.
particularly-
Don't say stuff like that in Strange Plains, Sturge. You don't know what that means to these people. That could be serious stuff. You could be like promising him to like babysit his firstborn child from now forever.
Oh, you're right.
We should like go around to introduce ourselves to
Okay.
characters, I guess. Although that too, Cecilia's like, that might also be a bad idea.
Well, how
Nothing makes sense here.
he says,
Rogar, author of the revised.
the ship is getting underway. Please come to my cabin and we shall speak. And he
With pleasure.
shows you to a cabin at the aft castle of the ship.
As we're walking, Stong just wants to look at whoever's closest to him, and who is that?
It's me from now on, because if you're gonna start giving out tongues,
Cecilia is like, I want some.
like
of this.
no, Worcester.
So Stong's gonna whisper something like, "Wait, I thought we were captives. They seem to be treating us fairly well."
I mean, he is. I don't know what's going on with the lady on the dragon. And did he say a Lich Queen? That does not seem good.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah, it
not
does.
comment about their leader. Let's
Don't tell
just...
Caliph.
I think she already
Or maybe
knows.
tell Caliph. She'll take
This
notes.
is like, I understood all those words.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So,
Run off
yeah.
with the Yankee Glitch Queen, and we'll go have to tell Aiden that you left him for a better necromantic master.
I'm sure
Chick.
he'll understand.
He'll probably be like, where are they at? Can I get their address?
Just don't reply to his sendings. New phone. Who dis?
As you're moving across the deck, it feels remarkably like a ship on the sea. Like your body is more accustomed to this feeling than floating through the astral sea. You see the githyanki moving like normal sailors, trimming sails, coiling up rope, checking the ballista to make sure it's ready to fire, all of that. But occasionally one of them will just leap like 30 feet in the air
Wow.
up to one of the yard arms to do work up there, just very gracefully, just naturally, as though that's what they're always accustomed to doing.
Is it easier to jump here, or is that something that they can just do?
If one has psionic ability,
Oh.
the
Wait.
Gish says.
Question, because we can move ourselves by thinking about it when we're not on the boat. If we're on the boat, we have to have psionic ability to do that trick.
Maybe.
Or oh my God, this
You
is
don't
so
know. Are you
hard.
gonna try?
Oh, let's all roll 100 or percentile dice to see if we have psionic ability.
Whoa.
Who's gonna jump?
Please.
Yes, for
I
sure.
don't think Cecilia.
Oh my
would.
god! I rolled a 99.
Church.
Did Eric even say yes?
I will.
I showed him the flask. That's
I'm
the
sorry, I
same
thought
as
that-
saying yes.
I thought that
Oh,
was for me in
God.
my question about jumping versus flying.
I will screenshot this.
Oh my god.
What happens to the 99? Does he
Every
have psionic abilities now?
Yeah, everybody's witnessing the birth of psionic Sturge right here, right now.
Is this actually a thing? Like you go to the astral plane?
I
and
have a
you-
sudden awareness of myself.
Poor Eric.
This can only end well. Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to that.
Meanwhile, Artemisia, like, it's not 90 feet long boats that are impressing her. She watches some of the jumps happening. She seems to be pretty impressed by the, shall we say, athletic prowess being
Oh,
displayed.
Are you checking out some Githyanki booty?
Why would you think that?
Because
Because you're very-
nice.
You're
always
very
do.
predictable.
yeah. Your stares are very open.
So
Let's face it, there's some nice figures in this ship.
Ertris leads you to his quarters, and they're covered. The walls are covered with papers that have all kinds of diagrams and such on them. It's just loaded with scrolls and books all over the place. And there's a circle in the middle, traced into the floorboards of the ship, with some kind of blue glowing ink.
Do you
Anyway,
recognize it?
Nice.
make an Arcana
place.
check.
19 for
Go for it.
Artemisia to know something about it.
22.
Okay, well,
19 for Cecilia,
you're pretty sure that's some kind of summoning circle.
which is summoning, buddy.
It says nothing presently,
Mhm.
but I do occasionally receive instructions from our queen and send messengers back. It is a more reliable form of communication than
need a
certain
messenger
other
right now?
options. What did you say, Emily?
Do you need a messenger right now?
Don't mind
He
her.
says-
She's obsessed with liches.
He says, interesting. So you understood some of what I was saying.
Sturge, you gotta put it a
You're
little
a grown-up. We all
more,
believed you.
a little more to your right. I
Oh,
believe,
really?
to show it on screen. Yep, there you go.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just very proud of that. Okay.
Anyway, he says, so please have a seat wherever is comfortable for you. You see, there are pillows and chairs and such that you could sit on if you wanted to. He goes and sits behind his desk,
It
which
looks
is
like
covered
it's
with
I'm
papers
just-
and
I'm
ink
I'm
and stuff.
curious. What, if I may ask, sir, what is your agenda with us?
I have simply stumbled upon you, and I am curious.
Oh.
Assuage my curiosity, if you will.
Where are
What
we?
brings you to this place?
An accident.
We're looking for a house.
A house.
Also brought here by accident.
The real estate market in Westgate is terrible. You have to go way out into the suburbs to find anything affordable. It's crazy. Like,
I do not believe in accidents.
You
Oh.
have met Mirren.
Yeah.
We have a friend. She's very talented, but sometimes when she does big spells, weird stuff happens.
Hmm.
Our house was supposed to be sequestered. It went somewhere else, another plane. I don't know what she was trying to do. Melt a vampire is my guess. And she sent us here.
And with that house, are several loved ones who are innocent and powerless,
Including my stepdaughter.
except for the very potent guardians that are with them.
I see.
Adopted daughter, not stepdaughter.
I see a complex. I see a complex equation that is perfectly balanced.
Whoa.
You don't understand that metaphor. Not the
I
math stream.
suppose not.
yeah, Rogar nods wisely like he did every time in math class, and he didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. And he says, "So, what world do you hail from?" You said Westgate, yes?
That's the city.
I
I
believe.
had assumed so.
I
Do we know the
believe
name of the
it's
plane? Like, is that something that we know, or is it?
Toral.
Yeah, like it's
Nice.
Toral, but is that? I have
Well,
Is
you
that
know,
common
Toril is the
knowledge?
name of the world.
we live on Toril.
The material.
We like to call it the prime
Plane.
material plane, but that seems like an inappropriate name on a different
That
plane.
seems
the prime,
really-
the
Yeah.
prime.
Just like us to place ourselves at the
Egocentric.
center of the cosmos.
You come from the world of Toril. I know of this world. In the
For pillaging reasons?
in the
or...
sphere of Abir Toril, yes. I have been to this world. Tell me, where in Toril do you hail from?
Well, really, we're from all over, but we all live in
Hmm.
Westgate,
I
Is
see.
on the Sea of
in
Dragons.
Faerun.
Mhm.
Faerun.
Let's see, Neverwinter.
That's not a place that I'm familiar with.
Baldur's
We
Gate.
share an apartment. We have a weekly sitcom. It's
Perhaps I should visit sometime.
Where
I am
have you
more
been? Where are you
familiar-
familiar with?
I am more familiar with a place I believe was called in the tongue Maztica. Yes,
Do we know
I'm more
Mastica?
familiar with that place.
Do any of us know it?
Heard
Oh,
of
that
that
is-
place.
Is that a
Somewhere.
Fae?
Another continent somewhere in the world, far to the west, across the trackless sea. You're pretty sure it was a myth, actually.
Hmm.
Anyway,
That's cool.
Did it get squished? Are we supposed to tell him if it got squished?
What?
I don't, honestly, I don't
Mastica?
know about Mastica.
Oh,
But
did
So-
it get squished?
Character says, and you are here on a quest to find a lost building, a house.
That is
Hmm.
correct.
I see.
that's what we're doing now.
And the people
mean-
inside.
Yes, they need to both
Right.
be available and
That's the most important.
in good
I
shape.
see. Well,
I'm
you are
sorry.
fortunate to have come to the astral sea where time does not pass. We shall keep you on the ship for some time until we find this house of yours.
Will you help us in this way?
Sounds
It
so
sounded
good.
really nice, didn't it?
It did, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Why are you keeping
Yeah.
Celia
the
is
ship?
thinking for some time is very open ended.
Yeah,
Also-
why
also
do you
She's
keep
already
us on
kinda
the ship
bored.
And for how long?
Yeah. Is it possible we could make an exchange of services if you help deliver us to this house and send us back to Toro, because we haven't the faintest idea how to do that? Perhaps there's some onerous task you can assign us that is something you don't wish to do yourselves, or perhaps can't do yourselves. For some reason.
Or not an onerous task, but one
A
requiring
simple,
a different
easy-
kind of magic.
Yep.
Something
Ah.
pleasant
Perhaps.
would be ideal, obviously.
Right.
A pleasant task would be perfect.
Something
Simple.
spa-like, ideally,
Ah, you are wielders of magic.
a bit.
And
Yes.
Sharindlar's grace.
Don't
Have you heard of
undersell it.
Sharindlar?
She's
Mostly-
like, I think she's like his neighbor, isn't she? I don't know how this works.
Sharin Lar, that sounds like. No, can't say I've had the pleasure.
Probably best.
Oh, well, if we have time while we're traveling where we're going, I'll tell you all about her.
Big
Is
fan
this
of
a former
liches.
lover of yours?
No, not
A
at
current
all.
lover of yours?
In a
Not
metaphysical
at
way,
all.
sort
A
of.
future lover of yours?
She is a goddess, the goddess of life and love.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Ah, yes, you primes and your lovely superstitions. Yes.
Must say.
I hold back saying I'll superstition her fire on your head, but you know, that's it. I'd love to the opportunity to speak to you and convince you otherwise.
Well, we have nothing but time in a world of endless time.
That keeps
But
making
to
me want to
Sturge's
like
question-
have a panic attack.
He's
Yeah.
looking at Cecilia every time he says that because he can tell that there's something going on with Cecilia. And he's like, well, I have claimed you as my special guest upon the
I don't like that word
Terragress.
either.
and while you were under my protection, and the soldiers will not harm you or interfere with you.
Thank you.
Thank
This lasts until you challenge one of them to a fight, at which point they will harm you.
What if they
I
challenge
recommend you
me?
avoid
Do
doing
that.
What if they challenge me?
What did you do?
They are duty bound not to challenge you.
Okay.
And
They
the-
might interfere with you and get in your way and prompt you to challenge them, but then they will not challenge you directly. That
Can
would
you-
be a dereliction of their duty and punishable by death or exile.
Can you tell us something of the dragon? It is also
You mean
bound.
Reverest?
You have
Reverest.
another dragon?
The red one.
Scarcera's dragon.
Yes.
Yes.
Also-
He obeys, he follows the ancient pact between Gith and his people.
His people, as in
Red
dragon?
dragons.
Red dragons. Okay.
Well, it depends on how you look at the pact, but the pact was formed with the progenitor of red dragons.
Are they native to this plane?
Red dragons? Not to my knowledge.
Hmm.
Their lord and master originally came from the abyss, from the bower of his lady Tiamat, the greatest of all dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Some think of her as a goddess. That is an excellent articulation of what I said earlier.
Hmm.
But she's not. She's a dragon, obviously.
I have
Exactly.
all kinds of like
So you
Dragonborn
see, you
opinions
have
that have no
defeated
business
your own
inside his
beliefs.
mouth.
I have eliminated a falsehood in favor of my true goddess.
Oh, yes. Your goddess is the true one, and other gods are false. I understand.
No, there are many true gods.
He reaches up
But
and
mine is the most
pats
wonderful.
Drogar on the cheek.
Okay, before we get into theological smackdown, question. You said that they'll try to make us challenge them. What's up with that? Like, why is that a thing? Because where we come from, that might happen, but generally you don't expect everybody to be spoiling for like a huge fight.
True children of Gith are raised to be aggressive and violent, and so a challenge is in their nature. Obviously, they will seek to prove their strength against whoever presents a threat. Your presence presents a threat.
So
Can-
exhausting.
Can we stay separate
does.
from them?
I don't know. Can you?
I could spend days in this room. I see books here. I would love to speak with you about them. I think far more time would be required to discuss this library than we will travel.
I sense a certain magic about you. You have the magic of the mind.
Ah,
Because
Well-
90
I did roll a 99. I mean, I'm just saying.
I want
We're
to point
talking about
one
what
thing
it
out.
means.
Steven, did
Okay.
you reload your portents for the day?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Roll one more.
One more.
Well, he does though. Was Sturgis' proposal that we do some exchange, was that shut down or is that still on the table?
Well, he asked what you have to offer him.
Oh. Just depends what they need, I suppose. I rolled a 12 for the third portent.
Okay. Well, you
Dawn
have a
could
12.
do a show. I think you could do a show, right?
Yeah.
Are you saying I have a
Doctor.
third portent?
Yeah.
Wow.
You have a bonus one portent.
Wow. Okay.
And share
Oh.
with him the knowledge of happy earthquakes.
Artemisia is going to do some kind of like quick lightning thing just in her hand. Be like,
Does
"Got
that
some
impress
magic."
him at all?
Does that impress him at all?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not trying to like
Make an
denigrate
insight check.
Artemisia's magic, but I have absolutely no clue whether this is kind of what he's talking about.
Make an
It's
insight check.
16.
16. He seems to be humoring you.
What is
Okay,
it that you
this is
have?
this is my thought is that this guy is thinks we're adorable babies, and anything we can do, he's gonna be like, "That's so nice." Right, like a
That's
kid
so
being like,
cute.
"Oh, hey, like dinner," and you put ketchup on something, and you're like, "Good job, buddy," but you're still not getting the Nintendo you asked for.
Oh my god. He's traveled many worlds and he has a massive library. Tell me, have you heard of the Bogglewomps?
Ooh.
Boggle womps.
Aye.
He looks intrigued. And he gestures you forward.
Little psionic mind probe here coming up.
Yo, if he's about to pat you in the
Aye.
face again, you dodge that. You dodge that.
I was given a vision, and I believe the Bugglewumps are a dire threat to the entire world of Toril.
He touches his palm to your forehead.
Hmm.
And you feel this pressure in your head. Do you resist his magic?
No, not if it's going to give me an answer about the Bugglewumps.
Great. All right. So you feel other thoughts intruding into your own. They're very calm and very ordered and very measured. But harsh at the same time, just kind of coming right in there. And he wrenches the knowledge out of your head.
Okay.
And then
Oh.
you kind of stagger back.
Hey.
And if he got
Ooh.
something in that exchange that maybe he would see intriguing as an exchange for helping us find the house, all the better.
He says, huh. Interesting.
You said you weren't going to
Hurdles
harm
and
us.
barriers. I understand.
Yeah, does Rogar look like
Looks
he was
to
harmed?
Artemisia, because Artemisia started talking to him. What did you say?
Does Rogar look like he was harmed?
No?
It's just like an ice cream headache.
Oh, okay.
He looks maybe
She'll
a
like
little
that.
Bet you have a
dizzy
weird
for a
taste.
second.
I bet you have a weird taste in your mouth. If I wrote this scene, you'd have a weird taste in your mouth.
Like it triggered different mental things inside your head, different sensations and memories. Like a weird taste in your mouth, you smell eggs or something.
Mhm. Ooh,
Ooh, I like that.
purple.
And while he was touching you, you are pretty sure that there was one of those fog mist monsters swirling around you for a second. Like he was drawing the image out of your mind. And you were experiencing it while he was doing that. This is fascinating. Yes, I am familiar with this phenomenon.
Oh,
Bob
what
smacked.
can you tell me?
I doubt I could tell you anything that you would understand, but I could help you with this phenomenon. Is that what you like? What you would like?
Well, I think. Oh, this is hard. What I want most right now is for my friends to be safe and to get out of this plane with Stong's daughter, Mirabelle. So if this is going to be I can have one or the other, or if you're helping me, it interferes with that, then I'll have to pass at this time. But I'd very much like to get your card so I can call you in the future.
I see.
Um,
I shall make this pact with you then.
Ooh.
You what? Oh,
Ooh.
Rogar, watch out! That word. I'm just saying.
I shall aid you and prompt Scaresair to take the brig toward this island that you describe, or the nearest connection to it. I shall use magic to locate it.
Right.
In return, I require the conversation of the most powerful among you.
How do you measure
It's a
power?
very
You
subjective.
might as well have said
thing.
the hottest among you.
Oh my god, beauty
The
pageant.
fairest.
Well,
Let's
I mean,
go.
That one we just go by charisma, right?
What about strength?
He
Storm
does
strength is his
pause
strength.
to see how you take that.
Ugh, this is like classic. Like, make them fight amongst themselves. Don't fall for this, Rogar.
I have assessed which of you is the most powerful, but I should like to hear your opinion about
Hard
it.
pass. Not
This
playing
will tell
game.
me much about your understanding.
Well, Stong has the most powerful heart.
Stong.
Artemisia has the most powerful lightning.
Cecilia looks very offended.
It's really
Oh.
Powerful like witch
Aw.
bolt or whatever. Your bolts are most.
feel like
Oh
that is
no,
a
that's
pity.
also lightning.
That was
Uh-oh.
that was a
Oh, is that
pity.
also lightning?
That
I
was
didn't-
also
I'm
lightning.
sorry, I didn't
that was
realize.
that was a pity most powerful, and I know it.
Pity most powerful. Oh.
Maybe it's Cecilia has the most powerful axe.
Rogar just keeps digging it with Cecilia. Like, I'm so far in the hole.
Yeah,
Oh,
Artemisia's
I
not
get it,
saying
I get
anything,
it.
but she's looking at Stong.
Stong.
Like she automatically looks at him.
Oh.
Gorilla man.
I could turn
Someone-
any of us into a
Better
gorilla,
just-
guys.
Several of you, in fact, all of you, wield the power to shape basic matter. That doesn't really impress me. The real power is the power to change the truth. And among you, the most powerful is obviously this one. He points to Cecilia.
Ooh.
that makes Cecilia like very uncomfortable, but also like she's not gonna jump around for this guy. So
That is roundabout way of saying she's a good liar.
yes,
Rogar,
pretty
Rogar says to her, "You seem worried about you warned me against making a pact. You have some experience with that. Is that something you're?"
just don't make promises with powerful people. That just seems like a good general rule for everybody. You look like you're gonna jump on that. So what? I have to have a conversation with you, and then you'll tell us where our house is.
Yeah.
That's fairly easy.
Well, if
How
she
long a
agrees-
We are agreed
conversation?
then?
How long a conversation?
Good question. Good
You
question.
have a very
Yes.
flippant sense of time.
Good question.
Yes.
He's like,
You
"It's
may
just a
have
little
noticed-
while. 3 centuries later.
You may have noticed that time passes differently in this place than in your home.
Yeah, it stinks.
SpongeBob
Yes.
3 centuries
Time,
later.
in fact, does not exist in the astral sea.
Oh my God. 3 centuries later. Okay, are we done yet?
Okay.
All things are in perfect balance here in the astral sea. It is why the Githyanki dwell in this place.
Mhm.
That, and because we are the undisputed masters of this place.
You're the most powerful. Cool.
I did not say we are the most powerful. I said that we are the masters.
Both of these are kind of subjective statements. So
See, this is why I desire your conversation.
all right.
Well then,
I want to get to the house. I'm worried very as much as Cecilia is trying to act chill about it, she is worried about Mirabelle.
Thank
and,
you.
And also, about Mirabelle in the house because sometimes things happen around Mirabelle. And she doesn't know Nala super well. She hopes Nala can take care of Mirabelle burning down the house.
Nala,
Nobody
who
should be
was
responsible for that.
critically injured just before the house disappeared.
Yeah. And if Mirabelle burns down your house, it is mischievous and adorable, and I'm sorry, and Stom will help you build it again.
It's not the house. It's more like if Mirabelle's in a burning building, like, I don't know. Maybe she can handle that. I don't know. Mirabelle is a cipher, and but she's tiny.
She's
So-
tiny.
So Cecilia's been very like, it's fine because she doesn't want anybody freaking out. But inside, she's like, it's not fine. There's a tiny baby in our house who might be a demon, but still.
She's an angel. Anyways.
She can be both. So she will have this
I shall-
conversation with this
yes.
strange man
I shall
She's a
put this.
brimstone
who is
angel.
definitely trying to trick her.
I shall put this in a scale that you would be familiar with. Our conversation, our time together shall last for 1 day upon your
Okay.
world. And that is the
Still
amount of
a
time
long
it shall take to
conversation.
find this house.
Okay. All right.
Are we going to get
Deal.
started
You
on
can
the
count
finding
if you
process?
How am I supposed to count and talk? Someone else count for me.
See what I mean?
Calith, what'd you say?
I was just saying, are we going to start the finding process while the talk is going on, or is it like the talk finishes and then the ship starts moving?
That's a good question.
I have
Walk and
already
talk,
started
walk and talk.
to look for this house of yours.
Whoa.
Oh, good. Then we don't have to count because we can stop when we get the house.
Well, assuming you trust me. Yes.
I don't trust anybody, so.
Okay.
Is that a good place for a break?
It is.
Oh, good.
So we're going to take our break. So we'll be down for a couple minutes. Mods, run a poll, please, for who to include with our interview +1. I believe I was talking with Yang Yang last week. So Yang Yang is off the table, but one of the other folks. And we'll be back to you in a couple minutes. Don't go away. And we're back. Hail and well met. We're back for the interview +1 with Rhiannon Held, player of Artemisia Tararon, the world's most fashionable sorceress. Sorcerer. Female sorcerer. I think you prefer the term sorcerer rather than
That's correct,
the term sorceress. Yes?
Mhm.
Cool. So let's see. Some questions for Artemisia. First of all, how are you feeling about things with your sister right now? How's that going?
Well, Artemisia is worried because she's used to this sort of anatomy of a fight where like somebody like is mad at her and then she like takes it for a while and then maybe she like stands up for herself a little bit, but so far in her life that has not necessarily worked out. And so then she's used to like being like, okay, something went wrong here, go apologize. So she apologized, and then what's supposed to happen is that like Marcelia sits there and like tells her like everything that is wrong with her for like half an hour. And so she was sort of like, okay, Cecilia, tell me like all the ways that like I'm bad and wrong and like you're mad, and then we're good. Like, but then Cecilia
And that
didn't, and
just
Artemisia is sort
didn't
of
happen,
like,
yeah.
when is the other shoe dropping? This is
So-
weird.
What's interesting is I realized that before we were talking about how if Sarshan owned up and apologized to her, that would be like kind of that would kind of take the wind out of her sails and like make her think about the fact that you can come back from that sort of thing. And you just did that. And so I was
Yeah.
kind of like, that's awesome. But I also think that that's cool that it's kind of doing the opposite too, where we're both kind of like, wait, what just happened?
Thank you, Aaron. We are doing the interview thing, Aaron. So you don't really
Oh,
have
I'm
to
so sorry.
answer any questions.
I didn't
But
realize you were
no,
still here.
we got some extra bonus there. So
I thought
we're
we were
on
all
the
muted.
interview +2. It's fine.
I'll mute
So-
myself now.
No worries. Yes, these two have been behind the scenes talking about how their characters are going to go, and I think they have some pretty cool stuff planned out for you. So, and obviously we can't plan everything in advance. A lot of
I
it
wouldn't
is
want to, yeah.
based on what happens in the game. But yeah, we have good arcs going. Okay, so question from the chat. This is, which Gith does Artemisia find the most attractive? So I have mentioned to the group, and I'll mention to the viewers now, that there are 50 githyanki warriors on the ship, plus Scarsha, who is the Kithrak of the ship. Now, a Kithrak commands 100 githyanki warriors. That is the 50 warriors on the ship, and the 50 warriors on the ship that's about a half mile behind. There are 2 astral brigs floating through the astral sea here, and the dragon, obviously. And then there's the Gish, Hertress. So there are a lot of githyanki to choose from, is what I'm saying. So as you were strolling across the deck, you were checking out and appreciating the athletic / psionic prowess of some of these githyanki. Why don't you tell me what Artemisia looks for in a githyanki warrior?
Well, she's really interested to like find somebody who's so sort of outside the norm of what she sort of usually is going for, because she goes for elves usually. And so they're kind of like elves, but the whole like green and then different shaped face, like that interests her just for the sheer novelty of it, and also because like she so locked herself in, I think, to a type that she's a little surprised that like, hey, there's other types out there.
I'm surprisingly attracted to these people. That's odd, but interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she got out and talked to some of them, she'd probably like try talking Draconic to see if other ones of them also speak Draconic. And that would also interest her because the dragon aspects of her ancestry are not ones that she knows anything about. And why would they know anything else either? But like talking in Draconic is sort of a sign of like getting towards that side of herself. So that also interests her.
That flows into the next question, which was, now that you've met the dragon, how do you feel about your draconic heritage? The dragon wasn't hostile toward you, although, I mean, clearly you're not descended from a red dragon.
Mm-hmm.
How did that kind of like work in your head, spark with your character? What has that awakened in you? If anything?
Well, So it's sort of it's brought it up to the surface, because Artemisia has started to get this sense that like as she's learning new spells, and at some point it may come up that like as she's been learning new spells, like her scales have been getting more prominent. Not that anybody would know because she still hides them, kind of. So bringing the fact that like, hey, other people can see that she has draconic heritage to the surface makes her sort of think that like, okay, yeah, this is in play, and also she's like been having more trouble like repressing her emotions lately, and like her anger, and so it's definitely making her sort of reevaluate like what she thinks of her heritage, and like what role is that playing for her, because there have been times in her life where she's just like, yeah, whatever, like I hide the scales, it's not important, I'll just forget about it, and that is not going to be able to happen anymore. And if she got a chance to talk to the dragon, she'd definitely like be trying to think of ways to sidle up to the whole topic of just like draconicness in general. So
Nice. Okay. So sort of a mechanical question that plays a little bit into Artemisia's story. So currently you're a single class sorcerer. Have you ever considered multiclassing? And if you did, what would you multiclass as?
oh man, I hadn't thought about it, and the reason is that I haven't played a ton of 5th edition. So I played way back. 3.5 was when I did most of my playing, and so back then I sort of got to the point where I was like had felt out like enough different classes to sort of. But definitely when I start up, I like to do a single class and like really learn it and learn all its ins and outs, and rather than trying to get lost in too much choice. And like, did I make the wrong choice and take this and that and blah 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 blah. So just go like straight path. So now I've been doing that long enough would be when maybe I would think about it. But I don't know. I really like sorcerers like a lot. So
They are pretty fun and very versatile.
yeah,
Like you can like manipulate your magic on the fly, but within certain bounds, right? Like there are only so many spells that you know. So you know that the spell you cast is going to be one of these spells, and you have to figure out how you're going to use it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to make at least a level 14
I see.
because of the draconic lineage. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's important for how the story is going to go. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay. And then a last question for Rhiannon, not for Artemisia. And that is, you've been writing a bunch of space opera. If you viewers haven't seen Rhiannon's space opera yet, click on that doobly-doo on the Twitch, because she's recently released a bunch of space opera novellas. And the question was going to be, now that you're writing a bunch of space opera, which do you prefer, fantasy, space opera, or is it do they hold equal place in your heart?
There's a sort of aspects that I really enjoy that I come at from opposite directions. So basically, the fantasy comes at for those who don't know, I'm a professional archaeologist, and so I love world building. And so fantasy, like it's pretty obvious, like where the world building comes in. And I love doing sort of post-apocalyptic type fantasy where the technology level has gone back down to a sort of fantasy level, because that lets you reflect back on the old world, our world, but from a different perspective. And it's so great. I love it. And then space opera coming at it. It's a different kind of world building. You're using different elements, but you can build up in the same way. And then I can also get to my favorite part of the sort of reflecting on different cultures and the worlds that have passed and history and all that sort of stuff, but sort of standing on a different foundation. And so if you were like, you have to choose one and do that forever, I would probably choose space opera because you can have a low-tech planet and cheat. But I love them both. So don't make me pick one of my children.
It's totally fine. Multi-class as an author, single class as a D&D player.
Exactly.
I get it. Well, Steven's not back yet, so I'm going to ask you a bonus question.
Okay.
So you brought up the archaeology thing, and I'm curious if WotC hired you specifically as an archaeologist, D&D enthusiast / game designer consultant, one of those nebulous titles that pays well, but you're not really sure what you do. And you could bring your archaeology powers to one aspect of D&D. So something that you really like, or maybe a pet peeve, something you really don't like. What would it be? What would you bring to bear the might of all of those years of training to fix or spotlight?
So, true story. Dragon Magazine had, I think this is in like 4th edition or something random, an archaeology class that was just in the magazine. And
Nice.
I have a photocopy of that on the wall of my office that I'm not in because the world, I am not in my office. But that was really fun. But what it basically sort of said was like, it talked about the sort of difference between like an antiquities dealer or a looter and an archaeologist. And it got down to like, well, like Indiana Jones kind of antiquities dealer looter, really, like most people know that. And most people think that's the fun, like adventure D&D kind of way to go about it. And so the article sort of was essentially like, well, have some NPCs do your excavation, like, because that part's boring. So if I was gonna,
that part is most of your job, yeah.
If I was gonna use my archaeology powers on D&D, I think I would try to do a adventure supplement or something like that was purely on excavation, to sort of showcase the way that like maybe you're not running from boulders in a temple, but there are cool, exciting things. And probably how I would craft that is that discovering something about like a culture that you thought was dead, or a culture that had never been in this area, and you discovered through excavation in fact they had been, and then you could go and talk to their modern descendants and find out from the stories told by those modern descendants like all about like what happened to this culture, and just do something like really digging into the joy of discovery. And I think that there's a lot of like latitude for that in D&D because you've got all the cultures and different like races and whatever, and archaeology is all about like finding unexpected like connections and all things like that. So like
fascinating.
The point of this for me would be like finding, I'm still rambling, I know, because I see Steven's not here.
It's totally cool.
Finding like unexpectedly somebody traded with somebody else, or some people like to jump right to the magical artifact. And I would probably go the other direction and go instead to something about the everyday people and what they were doing that was unexpected.
Aaron,
yes?
can I make you talk yourself up for a second?
Yeah.
What's the name of the silver story with the archaeologist with the werewolves?
Yeah. So in my silver universe, my urban fantasy universe, there's a collection that has a couple of novellas in it, and one of the novellas has a character who is an archaeologist. And so collection is Ladies' Children, and the novella that follows the archaeologist most closely is Contested History. And so I actually she's human. I have a human archaeologist character excavating a site that was from the werewolves.
It is a super excellent example of how everyday archaeology can be really interesting and not have to be like boulders and stuff. Like it's very engaging, and it's stuff. It's like mean, it's a fun thing about going places with Rhiannon because she'll pick up a piece of glass and be like, see, this is the maker's mark, and this is how you know this bottle was made in 1915. And it's very fascinating.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So even if you don't, if you haven't read my urban fantasy series, the novellas in the Ladies' Children collection, they stand on their own. So if you're like, get me some archaeology about werewolves, you can jump right in.
You're
Nice.
wondering why Rhiannon's character has a Lothari background.
Yes.
You might see some werewolf skills.
I was gonna say the Forgotten Realms seem like an ideal location for an archaeology based story because they're all about Forgotten Realms. Yeah, maybe you can't hear me right now. Is that what's happening? Yeah.
No,
I see.
everybody read Lesser Evils because I had an archaeologist character. I'm just going to say that.
Right.
There we go.
I thought it was an excellent point as well. That's why I didn't want you to
Okay.
feel like we were
Okay.
diminishing the excellence of your point.
Well, we're almost back.
This is
Steven
Steven.
is adjusting himself in front of his camera. Like he's like going like this. I don't mean it like that. Jeez.
Said it like that.
This is a spicy game.
Back.
Anyway, thank you, Rhiannon. That was great.
Thanks.
We're ready to go back whenever
And we're
Dan
back.
gives me the signal. Are we back? That spell worked. Excellent. All right, welcome back to day. You're not really sure. Or
What's a day?
day 7, day 2008 on the Astral Sea. But you were on the Githyanki Astral Brig, the Terragris. And each of you has different experiences on the Terragris. And we're going to start with Artemisia. So Artemisia, out on the deck of the ship, you see the dragon flying around, just kind of lazily circling around the ship. The other
Is it flapping its
Githyanki,
wings?
the other Githyanki on the ship are you see that they're treating you with some deference. Like they kind of bow to you and move out of your way. Not like Stong. You see that, they're like they crawl all over themselves to get in his way. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, what? Okay.
But for you, they seem more like respectful and kind of like, she could be dangerous, that kind of thing. And you're out on the deck admiring the dragon flying around. Do you want to do anything else in particular?
Well, she's gonna look around and maybe one of the ones that like bows to her. She's gonna say in Draconic, excuse me, do you speak this language? Is there a way to invite the dragon for conversation?
So that warrior pulls up, looks startled, and says something quizzical in his own language. But you point to the dragon, and he goes, "Yes, dragon." Yeah. I don't want to get involved. And another Githyanki comes over to you. This one wearing what looks like a long whistle hung around his neck.
Oh,
And he says something quizzical in the Gith language, which you've heard enough of that you recognize the word dragon in what he said, even if you don't understand the rest of it. And it was a question. It was clearly like a
Sure.
dragon.
Yes, please.
Okay. He raises the whistle to his mouth and blows on it. You can hear a faint buzzing sound. No one else seems to hear anything from the whistle. And you see the dragon's flight path narrows and it comes down toward you. It lands on the aft castle of the ship. So the ship kind of shakes a little bit. And Scaresair on top of the dragon hops off, and she lays her hand on its neck, and they kind of, it's like they commune with each other for a second, and then she and heads off on her own.
Jump on
And
the
the dragon
Jump on the dragon.
lies down on the aft castle. You see that you didn't make this connection before, but you're pretty sure that it was designed for the dragon,
Oh,
like as its
okay.
perch.
Cool.
And its long neck brings its head kind of closer to you, and it looks like it's napping, but it looks at you very directly, like, you wanted to speak with me, that kind of way.
So she's going to go up and she's going to like kind of bow a little bit, be very respectful, say, I wondered if you perhaps would be interested in a conversation.
Yes, I can only converse with Scarsha, and Perch was so tedious. What do you have to say? You who are not touched by such foolish notions of order.
So Artemisia like visibly freezes because she got this far and now she's like, okay, what do I want to ask this dragon?
What's your favorite color? Oh wait, red. No, that was a dumb question. Okay.
Your blood is weak and diluted over many centuries, but I can tell that you are kin.
That so I have been told. I am glad that to have that verified. How might I set about tracing my distant ancestor?
Tracing. Short-lived races so preoccupied with lineage. Fascinating. I had never considered it. We are the children of the great Tiamat. She is our mother, even if our father abandoned her long ago. I trace my lineage to her. Is your lineage traced to her as well?
I don't know. I don't think I want to find out, though.
It is a great honor for the blood of the Dragon Queen to beat within your flesh. That blood connects us across the centuries and millennia.
I would be honored then, I suppose.
His snout comes closer to you, and he just you smell of
Oh, I see. Eric got muted.
It's so overwhelmingly upsetting that I can't
Anticip-
even talk.
messed up here for a second.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Going back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we hear the creepy thing the dragon did?
No.
Just
No.
the
Saw
smelling.
it. It looked
Okay.
creepy.
You smell like, and then anticipation.
He leaned into you and he sniffed. And he said, "You smell like something metallic." Ugh. And then he kind of backed away in disgust.
No.
Yeah. Chromatic versus
You
metallics.
do not draw your lineage to my ancestors. You hail from that accursed Bahamut. Be gone. And he just abruptly turns aside, which shakes the whole ship, and then flies off.
Oh, damn.
Like you are shaking a little bit and you catch yourself on the rail. Shaken physically? Yeah, maybe shaken emotionally.
Yeah. She's like, why did I do that?
Meanwhile, elsewhere on the deck, Stong, if the Githyanki were treating Artemisia with deference, they are falling all over themselves to get in your way. Every time you
Okay.
turn, one of them is there bumping into you. Some of them are shouldering past you. Some of them are just glaring at you. Sometimes one of them will like accidentally drop a barrel in your path or string around a rope that you walk into.
Stog definitely knows why. So he's been hanging out on the ship for a little bit, and he's been trying to pick up these other people's customs. He's not sure he's really successful, but he does know that they respect prowess. So I think he's becoming known around the ship for being able to use anything as a weapon. So they're dropping these barrels or ropes in front of him because they want to see him break some other things with those weapons.
Okay. I'm going to need you to give me a strength check, please. Or a strength-based attack roll if you want to pull off some cool feat of breakage.
Well, because he is a tavern brawler, and using his tavern vision, he knows how to use any weapon with proficiency.
Yep.
Love it.
Okay.
I had 50-50 it was going to go this way, or that you were going to say he knows what they want. They want his sheet music.
Well, he would just give that out for free. I have a use for it in the back of my mind. Maybe it'll come up in the future.
No, you sell it, don't give it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely has Cecilia's voice. Yeah, the back of his head. That's a
Figure out
14.
what kind of money they have.
Sorry. We'll figure it out. We will.
So you got what? 18?
14.
14. Okay. So you a barrel comes rolling toward you, and you just scoop it up, and in one fluid motion, swing around, and you heft that barrel, and it goes flying overboard.
Yeet.
You yeet that barrel into the astral sea, and it smashes into the hull of the other astral
No!
rig putting
Whoa!
behind.
And sinks it.
You put- do, like,
No,
critical
it's like, and
combos.
it explodes with like wine across that ship.
You're
Nice.
welcome.
The other Githyanki, they look over at you,
Man.
and then they go,
I mean, I really want to say this is like a Donkey Kong moment or a Stonky Kong moment, but I wasn't a giant ape. So next time,
And,
next
uh,
It's
barrel.
in your heart.
one of them
Next
brings
barrel.
you another cask. And I'm like, throw
Oh.
this, throw this.
He looks at him. He goes, and then he transforms into a giant ape using polymorph, and now he will throw this barrel.
He's gonna sink that ship.
All right,
Do it.
make another attack roll, please.
So the
There's no water.
So his range weapon attack is +9 to hit. So with a d20, that is going to be 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Smash into the ship. Like you can see the wood of the ship bends slightly, like it dents inward a little bit. And the people around are like, and the people on the other ship you see lots of activity on the deck.
I do this and I like wave at them and I like make this gesture like
Bring it.
What is the meaning of this? You hear a woman say, and she says it in a language that you understand, like it just comes to your ear, translated into, well, would your mother tongue be the orc or the kind of common human dialect? What
Orc.
would you say?
orc.
Orc? Okay, comes in. It's like somebody speaking orc to you, and
Immediately
it is Scaresair who has come stomping up to you like, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, she could do that the whole time?
Stomping?
Her.
Using that magic? Yeah.
I think
Yes, dominance play.
yeah, like the dominant orc language in a female voice is gonna like trigger something in the back of Stong's psyche. So he's just gonna like look downward
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
you're much larger than she is at the moment.
Dog.
yeah, but he's like, oh, and then he looks at the Githyanki that gave him that second barrel, and then he points at him.
She looks at that githyanki and he goes,
They liked fighting.
Threw him under the bus completely.
I mean, if Stong were so friendly, he might pick him up and offer to eat him. But I think he's going to transform back into his normal form and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Was that barrel personally meaningful to you?"
well, these are all knickknacks that we pick up from our various raids. That barrel came from some world that we were on some time ago. Like, time in the Astral Sea is very, very relative.
Yeah, a lot
I
of you
didn't
keep
taste
making
it
time
myself.
comments.
I was looking forward to it.
Well, I promise you the next time I go on a raid and pick up a barrel, I will give it to you in replacement.
Oh, good.
I would like for us to be friends.
Make a charisma check, buddy.
Okay.
Does everybody know what Stong's charisma is?
Okay, so 14 plus 2 is a 16. Oh, wait, sorry, I just rolled a charisma save. Oops. So 14 minus 1 is a 13.
Just, that depends. I see you can take forms of great size and great strength.
I could
This
also
could be useful to me.
make you a giant ape if you want.
That seems not useful to me in any respect.
I don't think she knows all the ways she can use a giant ape shape. We found several.
Mm-hmm. I regale her with a tale of how we slew a vampire and how useful the giant ape form was.
A vampire.
It's like me, but with pointy teeth, who likes to drink blood, is vulnerable to daylight, and I tell her all these other things, and then at the end I say, "Oh, I guess so. Not very much like me."
Does it include the putting garlic in your pockets? Because that'll keep vampires away?
Pickle in a pocket.
Pick it in the pocket.
Pickle in a pocket.
Vampire won't stalk it.
He says, well, I see that you're describing a dangerous foe. I myself have slain dangerous foes. And she starts telling you about this creature that eats people's brains.
Ew.
Out of, like, it has tentacles coming out of its face, and it bores into people's heads and eats their brains.
Oh, Stong says, "Oh, that sounds very dangerous. I'm very impressed by your combat prowess. Are there a lot of
Yes.
these creatures here on this plains?"
Not anymore. The mind flayers kept my people slaves until the great Gith rose up against them. Now we go out of our way to slaughter them whenever we can. I myself have killed 5 mind flayers.
Wow.
And you've killed 1 vampire. 2. You said 2?
All me and my friends together have killed
You
2.
and your friends together. I see. Oh. So I see that I am a superior warrior to you.
Well, I mean, there's only really one way to find out. But I
There
don't
are
say that
2
in...
ways to find out.
Oh?
Yes, come to my cabin. You shall
Stong...
decide which to pursue.
Okay, so I think that's just gonna, like, fly right over Stong's head. He's like, in his head, he's gonna be like, huh, never had cabin combat
Okay.
before.
Remember,
Is it going to
tomorrow
be
morning you're
wrestling?
gonna walk the dog
Yes.
before noon? Okay, thank you.
Is that some sort of weird metaphor, Steven? Like,
Oh.
tomorrow, I'm gonna walk the dog before noon. Maybe I will. Oh, I see.
No,
My son was like that. He's about to
Walking
leave.
the dog.
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's all good.
So, Stong
So
and
was it
the
muted?
Kithrak Scarsa head to her cabin to determine who is the better warrior. All right.
Cabins are rocking.
Dang. This reminds me of something. when was this? That didn't Stong go up to a balcony with a waitress once in the very, very, very first episode?
The one
Oh,
that turned out to be like a
no.
succubus.
Yeah.
Turned into a succubus.
It almost
yes.
sacrificed me for
Yeah.
a ritual.
Yep.
Yeah, it was true love. All right. So, Sturge,
Reading.
you are okay. You were muted, but you're no longer muted. Okay, great.
Yes.
So, you're on the deck, and you can't help but be drawn to that marvelous sword
Oh.
that your elven host had.
Mm.
Two of the Githyanki warriors claimed the sword,
Mm-hmm.
and they were fighting over it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them stashed it down below in a hold, you think?
Mm-hmm.
And then the two of them went off on their way, continuing to argue.
I have a bag of holding, which I wouldn't have to actually touch it if I were to slip it over the sword.
Have you tried using it?
I
in
could
the
have
astral?
someone
Touch it,
like-
embrace your narrative.
And then later I could have Mirren look at it.
Embrace the narrative. Dude. That's good for the story. All right.
Not sure what the narrative is that you're referring to.
Do you slip down to the hold when they're no longer there?
Yes.
Okay. So there are Githyanki who periodically kind of patrol the hold, but you're able to steal past them without much effort.
Mm-hmm.
And you find yourself next to the sword, which is piled onto like piles of jewels and gold coins and stuff, and pottery and clothing and other shiny or odd looking knickknacks from some other world.
This is an individual soldier's stash? Or
Oh
is this
no,
like,
it seems to be like a group stash where they just put everything.
Let's detect magic real quick.
Okay, well the sword is obviously very magical.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Everything else seems to be like a mundane treasure of some kind, or just a mundane item.
Okay. Bag of holding. Over it. Turn it upside down. Don't touch the sword. And retreat.
Is the bag of holding
So
work?
you pull out the bag of holding,
Mhm.
and then the elf's voice speaks to you.
Freeze.
What are you doing?
I don't wish for this particular crew member to suffer a bad fate, which you warned us of. So I'm not going to touch it.
Oh, how selfless of you.
Would you prefer I leave it where it is?
I think you would prefer that you leave it where it is.
Truly?
Well, it is up to you.
Well, I thought I might slip the bag over it, take it to a wise friend who could examine it without touching it. What do you think?
You don't have any wise friends here.
No.
Oh.
No
Yeah.
hesitation. Just
Burn on Rogar.
Rogar.
It's okay. His wisdom isn't very high. Maybe he doesn't know your
I wouldn't
Um,
touch that sword if I were you, but
I-
it is your own destiny that you were choosing.
Why don't you just tell me what the problem is?
If I told you what the problem was, you would have no choice.
But to
Yes.
This guy is so cryptic.
yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take it without touching it and leave the decision for later.
You put it in the bag folding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for the warning. I appreciate it. What was your name again?
No reply.
Oh.
You feel alone.
Go back up. Ponder what he said.
Okay. Rogar.
Rogars. That's
So-
about 10,001, 1,000, 10,002, 1,000. But Cecilia said that someone should count, so I've been counting.
Rogar.
And we're at 10,003 Baramies. I mean, timey wimeys. I mean,
Irregulars.
is here.
Okay. So two of the Githyanki have noticed what you're doing. And they come over to you and they speak in their Gith language. You don't understand. But it's obviously a question of some kind.
The numbers are really hard for Rogar, so he's really trying to concentrate and doesn't lose his space.
10,001, 10,002, 10,000 Karaga, 10,001, 10,002. Yeah.
So they're
Okay.
coming over and they're just talking next to me. All
Right.
Good for them. 10,005, 10,006.
They look at each other and they have a conversation with each other. And then one of them holds up a hand and goes like this.
3,000. Oh, that. Ah!
You start laughing.
10, 1,001. 10, 1,000.
Okay. One of them he nudges you and he holds up an object which you realize is like a die, like this.
Huh?
You've never seen a die shaped like this though.
Hmm.
It has many, many sides. You're used to dice with 6 sides. That's the usual way dice are.
Right.
Sometimes with 10 sides.
Possible
Seen
use could
those
you
too.
have for this? I don't.
And he goes, and he says something in Gith.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then he rolls the die
Uh-huh.
on the nearest flat surface. Like he pushes aside a rope and rolls the die. And it comes up 24. And then he hands it to you. And he goes,
Well, if it'll make him go away, that's what I'm thinking. I was just like, 10,000 and 10,001.
so you roll the die.
I rolled the die.
It comes up 11. The Githyanki goes,
No!
ha! And then he slaps you.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Well, I'm not sure if this is a game or foreplay or if it is.
He shows you the die and he asks the question.
No. I think I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you
he
very
rolls
much.
the die. It comes up 25.
Uh-huh.
And he pushes the die toward you.
I'm like, no, I think I'm good.
Just
Thank
slap
you so much.
He holds it like
in my face, like
yeah. Do you push it away?
yeah, I tried to push
All right.
it away.
He lets go as soon as you touch it.
Right.
It comes up a 3. The other Githyanki slapped you. And then they laugh.
This is a terrible game.
It's so stupid, but it's like these are people who have like no concept of time and are like probably craving sensation. So of course they play a dumb game where they slap.
Okay, you got me twice. Good job. All right. Sharindar bless on 10,000. On 1,000.
Okay. All right. Caliph. So the Githyanki seem to be most interested in you. Maybe. It's hard to say. Like they keep looking at you like, Some of them are like pushing their ears.
Can I wiggle my ears at them?
You are an elf. You can wiggle your ears. Yeah.
Wiggle the
They go, we'll say you still have the comprehend languages. So if you want to, you can understand what they're saying.
Yeah,
One of them says, "What are you? What is this one?" The other one says, I don't know. She looks sort of like us. She looks like an elf. No, elves don't have wings. That's silly.
Can I fly right now? If I will myself really hard?
Ooh.
Yes, I'm going to need you to make a strength check
There
or an
are
athletics check if you prefer.
astral
I do.
winds.
That's not
Or,
better than a
or
strength
since you're in the astral sea, you can make an intelligence check.
check. 14.
Okay, so yeah, you lift off and start flapping your wings.
I'm gonna like do a couple laps around the ship. I'm not really flying for any reason other than to just see how they react to that.
Githyanki, I'm like, well, she can definitely fly. She might be using her mind to fly. She's not an astral traveler, though. I don't understand what you're talking about. Where's her string? The other one says, she doesn't have a string. It's hidden. It can't be hidden, you fool.
Interesting.
You land back on the ship.
Wiggle my ears more.
Okay.
Are they? I mean, Caleb is just sort of wandering and not sure what to do right now.
One of them points at your sword.
Oh, you well, you can't touch it, but want to see it?
I want her sword.
I'm gonna put that away real quick.
The other one says, I think she understood us. And the first one says, yes, I think she did. And the third one says, or you're just being really obvious, you fools, as he walks by carrying a big coil of rope. And then they say, how do we trick her out of her sword? Well, we could just kill her. No, she's under the Gith's protection. I know. Nope, I lost it. You were such a fool. She's really pretty, though. That doesn't matter. What are you talking about? She's a winged elf. Winged elf. Not a Gith. Not a githyanki. Not a githzeri. Oh, how dare you even suggest that I might be attracted to a githzeri? What are you talking about?
Let's just chop them. Just chop them. Sorry.
Oh no, I want to go over while they're in the middle of the conversation and be like, not making any sounds, but just gesturing.
Like, can she speak? I don't know if she can speak. Can you speak? He says it louder. Can you speak? No, these savage natives. I don't understand. We just pick these people up. Oh, well. Maybe when she goes to sleep, we can take her sword. We're on the astral sea, you fool. She's not going to go to sleep. And that guy with the rope walks by again. Also, she's an elf. Elves don't sleep. And they're like, okay. And one of them says, by Lockheath, this is so frustrating.
Vampiric touch him.
Okay. Are you going to do anything else to them, Caleb?
I guess I'm just gonna follow those two around from now on.
Oh,
And just make
following
really
us.
New best
expressive
friends.
gestures.
Maybe she's in on the plan. Maybe she finds me attractive. She doesn't find you attractive.
You have too many of your original body parts, sir.
You have too much living flesh attached to your living flesh. Okay. Said Celia. So, you're hanging out with Hertris.
I apparently am.
And well, first of all, the first thing he kind of wants to know about you and about the magic you wield,
Mhm.
since you wield several different magics.
Definitely.
What do you tell him?
First, I want to know what he knows. I don't want to explain something twice. And nobody likes having things explained to them that they already know.
Well, you have magic from a powerful benefactor. That I can tell.
Yep.
And you carry items of great power as well. I could tell that.
I mean, who doesn't?
But you have a greater power still, which is the power to alter reality simply with your words.
Okay, that feels very patronizing.
It
Everybody
is
can do
certainly
that.
not patronizing.
Not everybody is good at it, but everybody can do that.
I'm struggling to find a proper response that is not patronizing.
Yeah.
Not everyone. Can
Guess
do
what? You're
that.
gonna always lose this contest. I can think anything is patronizing.
So you are weaving and working upon me even now. How powerful you are.
What?
You have changed my own perspective about how I can even speak about this matter.
It's so not sure she's prepared for this, but she's gonna fake it as best she can.
The power to change others' perspectives is a great power indeed.
Sure comes in handy.
I'm sure it does. Do the others consider you to be their leader?
We don't really have a leader. We're kind of a
So yes,
kind of
you
a
are their
opt-in-
leader.
I don't know.
I see.
It depends on the situation. Although sometimes we pick the wrong person for the situation, like this morning or whatever it was. I don't know. You guys don't really have mornings.
That is
Autonomous
true.
collective.
We're an autonomous collective. Yes, we're an autonomous collective.
I didn't vote for you.
We take it in turns to choose a leader for the week.
So
Everybody's good at different things, and different people are good at.
the
talking to
descendant of
different people.
dragons. That one is your sister, yes?
She's a what? Is that what
Descendant of
Cecilia
dragons.
understands about Artemisia? Because she knows she has scales, but has Artemisia outed with the I get these from my draconic ancestor?
Well, Ilra, I think, told Artemisia that when Cecilia was there.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
Does she have the same power that you do?
She also can talk, so yes. Keep talking about this like it's something odd. Do you guys not know how to lie? Is that not a thing you can do?
No. It is simply an interest of mine that I picked up on a different world, far from here, or far from your world.
What's that world called?
Honestly, I do not recall. It was such a fascinating world. They had magic, but most of them didn't believe in magic.
Well, that's stupid.
Isn't it?
It's very.
It was intriguing to me. So many had the wool pulled over their eyes. That is one of their phrases that I borrowed from that world. I like that phrase. We don't have sheep here on the Astral Sea, but I have encountered woolly things before.
Yeah, I've seen the things that like roam around here and are normal, and I don't know that I want to know what your sheep look like. You're not sheep. You're woolly things.
Well, we actually raid the prime material plane for all of our needs.
You're in good company, I understand with that.
I wouldn't say good company, but we are in much company. Did you know the githyanki raise their children in the prime material world?
I don't like where this is going at all. I did not. I didn't know you people were a thing until this evening.
Of course.
Is that where you're going with this? Is somebody in my party a githyanki?
No, not to my knowledge.
Well, that's good. That would be it.
That's
We've had a lot of
Alicia.
twists lately, finding out things about parentage that we were not prepared for. And I don't wish that on anybody.
But
One
Hathor
among
is
you.
your half brother, so
One among
Oh my
you
God.
is infected with the seed of chaos, but that is
Oh, wait, what?
entirely her prerogative.
Her? Which what?
Githyanki, if you were concerned that I might have been expressing interest in you, you can rest assured that Githyanki reproduction is totally different from your own.
I literally did not even consider that. Why are you bringing it up? It sounds like you're bringing this up.
Now it's creepy.
Yeah.
I exercised my own magic to change your perspective.
Okay, can we go back to somebody has a chaos seed on them or something? Is it Artemisia or Caliph?
Many of you are tainted with chaos. That is part of why you are so interesting to me.
Just want to point out that Sturge was the one who swallowed the god pebble.
Ooh, that's
She
true.
said she, which is because I
Yeah.
think
Did say
Cecilia
that,
would have
yeah.
100% assumed it was Sturge.
And the
except that he
word-
said she.
And the word seed really doesn't apply to Sturge.
You don't know if
Why
it was
is
a
so
seed.
much chaos in you? He asks Cecilia.
Being by it honest, I guess.
Indeed.
Honest. Hmm.
What is chaotic about me exactly?
What is not chaotic about you?
My napping habits, which are really blown by this plane.
Very regular, though. Very regular.
I see that you are occasionally buffeted about on the storm of emotion.
How many
Occasionally.
how many hours of this have we done so far? Are we almost done?
By your own reckoning, 18?
We've been talking for 18 hours.
Yes. Hasn't
Wow.
it been
That's a-
fascinating?
Wow.
I don't feel comfortable with how this works. Let's just speak to management.
Excuse
Sturge
me,
is
Mr.
gonna-
Githyanki, I'd like to see your manager.
You know, I don't
I
know.
could help
Things
you
are
with
weird.
that, you know.
What does that mean? Are you going to like rearrange my brain? Because I'm not excited about that at all.
Well, I could do that as well,
No.
but I was suggesting a change of perspective.
Still sounds like rearranging my brain.
Or culty.
That's true too. I've already been approached with this sort of thing before. Hard pass.
Very
No more
well.
cults.
Very well.
Well, to be clear, like she will let him explain if he's going to explain what that means. It's definitely not a thing you just agree to.
I mean, once you've done one or two cults, it's like,
Yeah, seriously.
At least you know it. You can recognize it. You can jump out.
Perhaps this is an odd thing for a Githyanki to say.
I really wouldn't know. Like I said, this afternoon is the first time I ever got an idea that you existed.
Okay, it is an
So-
odd thing for a Githyanki to say.
I will keep that in mind.
But
I will not take this with me.
sometimes emotion is a source of strength, not of weakness.
That has proven true in certain aspects of my life when it comes to, you know, this and make my axe pop up.
I see.
Better when I'm mad.
I meant other emotions other than anger, however.
Are you coming on to me now?
As I said, our reproductive habits are very different. I find you very attractive, but I am flattered. But my love is reserved for Vlakith the Lich Queen.
Fair enough. I hear she's
Just-
great.
He just turned you down.
I'm not even sure what's going on, really. I think maybe he's trying to get me to fix some of the stir, just the vibe I'm getting. About reproductive things not matching.
He wants the nose.
Oh.
Those poor Githyanki, they have just, it looks like someone just cut their nose off.
I mean, maybe they think
Maybe
noses are unattractive.
Very weird.
Nose envy.
Anyway, so he
So-
smiles at this like bristling forest of sharpened teeth.
Whoa.
He says, I think we have reached basically the end of our conversation.
I don't think we did. 'Cause you said that you said all these things, but you didn't actually get to the part where you told me something. And this drives me crazy.
The tactic leaves you wanting more. So you
uh,
I see.
cryptic people are like Cecilia kryptonite.
Well, then I shall tell you. I shall tell you something true.
Okay.
You have but to ask. To ask me whatever you like, and I will tell you the truth.
Oh man, that's a lot of options.
Give
Because
it
I
some
am
thought.
very curious. She's very curious. Like this thing he keeps saying, like, oh, you can change people's perceptions. Like, does he just mean she's a good liar, or does he mean something else? And then this other piece where he's like, oh, emotions are strength, but I'm not talking about whacking things with your axe. So like, what is that supposed to mean? And all these questions are actually very embarrassing to ask. So I don't know if Cecilia can like convince herself to do it.
Well, you're
I don't know,
never
I need
gonna
help.
see
Can
this
I phone
guy
a friend?
again, probably.
Phone a friend. Do you have sending? Can you do the
Yeah,
sending
do you
spell?
have sending or the message spell?
I was going to say that Sturge was going
I
to
don't.
check in with her and just say, everything okay?
Nothing is okay. Nothing at all is okay.
Did you know we've been talking for 18 hours? All right.
Apparently it's been 24 because he says we're all done. I don't know. Well, how was that? How was that an extra 6 hours? We need
Time,
to say
man. Time.
that it's so weird here.
It is weird.
What are you talking about when you say like you made this big thing about like, oh, githyanki don't say this, but emotions are strength even when it's not about chopping people with an axe. Like, what are you getting at here?
Emotions are bred out of us at a young age. We are conditioned to destroy those things that we develop attachments for.
That sucks.
Those
Stop.
of us who fail to do that are those that we are that their corpses lie beneath our feet. We are a society of strength that comes from self-denial.
I am very confused that you thought I was the most powerful, if that's your definition of strength.
Why
Because
would
that
I
is-
not think you are the most powerful?
Because that is not anything like who I am.
Exactly.
And
You have managed to survive this long and acquire this much power. Your very existence is anathema to the
While
githyanki
flinging
people.
your emotions all over the place. That's not true, actually. She's gotten down a whole lot.
And
despite
yet,
also the other
you
thing.
have all of this power.
What exactly did you get out of this conversation?
A great deal. But mostly a sense of another source of power.
Are we talking about the lying thing, or are we talking about my friend?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, obviously, both of those things.
This
Why
person
do
is
I have a magnet for these people?
this person is like the magic
They all
8
look like
ball.
Eric, which is the weird part.
Oh my God. All right. And it is at that point that there is a shudder passes through the ship. And
It's not me.
you hear a cry go out on the deck. And it seems shudder. It seems that you have hit something.
86,400.
Did we just crash into the bar house?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
you start hearing a loud roaring sound.
Oh,
The sound the house makes.
In
like a dragon roar?
Well, multiple roaring sounds
Mm.
coming from the same source.
Uh,
And Hertress says, I think our conversation is at an end.
I don't know how I feel about that, but also this seems like something that has to be solved. What is roaring? What is that?
That sounds like an astral dreadnought. And on that note, time we have for tonight. The githyanki ship having just run into one of the most dangerous predators in the astral sea.
Yeah.
Yikes.
a
So-
giant squid?
20,000 leagues
Kraken?
under the astral
Oh
sea.
boy. Oh
A
boy,
kraken.
Steven.
Not a cuddly
Okay,
squid,
so-
man.
I have been Eric Scott to be the DM for this campaign. These are the Dungeon Scrawlers. Take it away, Aaron.
I'm Erin M. Evans. Check out our sponsors on idlechampions.com.
I'm Rhiannon Held. Thanks to our moderators tonight, Shay and Seldring, and thank you to Yang Yang for running our tech so well.
Hi, thank you. Also, check out the number of charities that we're supporting. There's a number of them right below the video on the stream if you're watching on Twitch. If you click on them, they'll tell you more about like what they do.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who subscribed to our channel. We do this for lots of money. Really.
And you
no.
can also find out past videos on YouTube channel, linked with our Twitch page below. Be sure to click on subscribe to support us, and click on the little bell to get notified when we add new content.
Aye. And yep, and the adventure continues over on our website, www.dungeonscrawlers.com, where you can find info on the players and the characters and lots of cool bonus stuff. So check it out. And until next time, stay scrawly.